Hi there, meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you on today, the evening hours of the 6th of October 2013. And well, just taking a look at the tropics and just taking a look at the satellite picture right now, this is just quite impressive. We have one Typhoon Feto just off the northern coast of Taiwan making landfall here through the overnight hours on Sunday into Monday there into Fujian province right near Wenzhou. But also right in its wake, and the first topic of conversation is going to be Typhoon Danas, which is rapidly approaching the southern Japanese islands out here. I know the bulk of the viewers out of the Okinawa area today, but also the storm system is going to be affecting much of Japan and South Korea. And not to mention behind this one, many models picking up on something forming in this area just towards the west of Guam, and possibly our next storm system's named Nari. So that'll be near the end of the update. First things first, let's talk about Danas out here, which according to the Japan Meteorological Agency has winds about 75, gusting up to 105 knots at this time. Now, compared to this storm's big brother Fito out there towards the west, this is moving much faster, and the center of circulation is much tighter than Fito was out here. So we're seeing the winds concentrated around a much smaller area. It's a little bit stronger as far as the general intensity, the max winds. But the saving grace is that the wind field does not extend very far out from the center of circulation, at least the max core of the winds, those typhoon strength winds, and this is moving forward at about 30 kilometers per hour. So it is quickly and rapidly approaching the southern Japanese islands here on Sunday, and by Monday evening it's going to be on it. But it's only going to be lasting just a few hours, basically whizzing right by there through the overnight hour. And just whizzing right off there towards the northwest. Now, this is a JMA model outlook, just looking here onto Sunday evening. Our storm system Fito over here towards the west, making landfall there right around Wenzhou. And then right behind it, we have Danas pushing off here towards the northeast. Now, at this time, most models, including the agencies, and they're all in fair agreement of this storm clipping the northern coast of Okinawa Honto. So basically the less populated area is going to be seeing the max of this winds. Now that could change if we do have this high pressure building just a little bit more and the storm system wavers a little bit farther down there towards the southwest. And that would bring that tight core of these winds as shown from the ECMWF model down there towards Naha. But at this time, like I said, most of the models are showing the northern half of the island with that wind field not extending out very far, really impacting northern Okinawa Honto and portions of the Amami Islands out here. Meanwhile, though, Naha, you're still going to be seeing tropical storm strength winds, and I think sustained 50 knots right near the coast for a very short period of time. I notice T-Core 1 is expected to be put in place for a lot of the bases down here towards the south. It's very well likely, but the sustained 50 knots or higher is definitely going to be farther off there towards the north. That's the ECMWF, but even the GFS, fair agreement of this storm system just skirting the northern coastline here, and that's where the max of the winds are going to be. So I'm not saying you're not going to see typhoon strength winds. Definitely typhoon strength, the gusts very well likely down here towards the south, but you got to remember you're on the left front quadrant, so a lot of the winds are going to be coming from the west, so you're not going to be seeing those large waves come on shore. Those are going to be reserved down here towards the northern coast of Okinawa and across the Maui Islands, and really just off here towards the north. So this is where the worst of the weather it will be, unless the storm system wavers a little bit farther down there towards the south, which at this time that doesn't seem likely. But if it does, then all this would be here instead. It doesn't seem likely at this time, though. You're still going to be seeing some pretty gusty winds out here. So I'm not saying we're going to be seeing the full-fledged typhoon strength winds like this video actually coming out of Miyako-jima James Reynolds shot here throughout the day on Saturday. I don't think that's going to be there in southern Okinawa, more towards the northern coast, and just for a few hours. Now, beyond that, it's going to race past the southern Japanese islands here, jet off there towards the north into Tuesday, start to recurve around the Westpac High, which is located over here towards the east, and push across western Kyushu. So Fukuoka really going to be under typhoon warnings very well likely, because this is still going to be packing some typhoon strength winds. Also off there across much of the western coast of Kyushu as well, and southern portions of South Korea. You could be getting impacted by this as it does race by. Now beyond that, it'll start to go extratropical, really get stretched out once it gets impacted with the mid-latitude winds out here. It's still widespread precipitation across northern eastern and the Pacific coast of Honshu likely here as it does get stretched out. But as it jets off there towards the north, the general winds will be less intense just over a widespread area. So that is really the general outlook of that right now. Impact in southern Japanese islands. JTWC actually expects tropical storm strength winds across most of Okinawa Honto here at this time. The bulk of those winds remaining farther there towards the north. So if it stays on this track and doesn't waver towards the south, and the models are kind of indicating on it wavering at least slightly, then the winds actually would be less in Naha and a lot of the military bases there than they were with Fitow here on Saturday. Now, speaking of Fitow, the bulk of the precipitation on the northern periphery of this storm system, dry air wrapping around it. We still have been seeing some pretty heavy precipitation, about 300 to 50 millimeters, 350 millimeters of rainfall reported in some areas in the mountains across northern Taiwan, and that is to be expected. Taiwan is just absolutely sufficient at squeezing out moisture from tropical systems. The storm system is going to be making landfall here in Zhejiang province, crashing on shore just south of Wenzhou. So typhoon strength winds very well likely up here into Taiwan. We've seen wind gusts over 150 kilometers per hour today, and that is definitely going to be the case along coastal China as this comes ashore. Also the risk of storm surge, but I think the main risk is the heavy rains out here. Over 300 to 400 millimeters very well possible in some areas here. The highest warning associated with typhoons for China, level red, has been put in place for coastal areas out here. So this storm system is going to be packing quite a punch, and after it pushes on shore, quickly weakening out, but still bringing some heavy rainfall. So let's take a look from 24 hours out, so by Monday evening here at the GFS model outlook, because I mentioned possible Nari and then Phelan out here towards Thailand as well. We've been mentioning that today. Let's just take a look at the winds here from the GFS model. Because let's scroll out. This is by Tuesday. Our one system rolling off there towards the northeast. Then in its wake near the Mariana Islands, then the next system starts to develop. Oh, meanwhile, the Bay of Bengal, we have this area starting to pop up. It's just all sorts of active out here. And this one starts to develop, Nari developing there, pushing out there towards the Philippines. This one starting to move out there towards eastern India. And then by next Saturday, what we have here is a couple of tropical systems on our hand. One there in the Bay of Bengal, and another one just towards the northeast of the Philippines. That's from the GFS. Let's compare it up with the ECMWF here. And, well, it's not the same story at all. A little bit weaker out here, but this is actually pretty decent development for the ECMWF in a long range. And then we got our big general circulation there. ECMWF is not good at initializing storms, but pretty good at predicting them after they form. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And NavGem as well has been pretty hot in developing Nari out of this area. And that's all being fueled by the ITCZ, which has been bringing some heavy rainfalls across the southern Philippines and even some flooding reported there into Cebu here on Sunday. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can always post them down in the comment box below. Also, check back into the website. We're continuing to put website updates out, and also on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.